Hello, everyone, welcome back to my channel. What if I told you the person you're dreaming about marrying might secretly be the very person who will destroy your peace, your finances, and even your future? Think about it. Marriage is supposed to be about love, trust, building a family, and creating stability. But the wrong person can take all of that and turn it into a nightmare that you can't escape without scars. And here's the part that stings. Most men never see the warning signs until it's too late. They confuse passion for loyalty, attention for commitment, and drama for intensity. You think you found someone special, when really you've walked straight into a trap. Men across the USA, UK, Canada, guys just like you, wake up every day in marriages where they feel suffocated, emasculated, and broken. Not because they were weak, but because they married someone who was never built for partnership. Instead of support, they got sabotage. Instead of peace, they got constant conflict. Instead of love, they got conditions, manipulation, and ultimatums. And no one prepared them for it. So let's be brutally honest. There are people you should never, ever marry. They might look beautiful, say the right words, or even give you moments of intoxicating happiness. But underneath that mask lies someone who will slowly drain you of everything that makes you, you. These people don't enter your life to build with you. They enter to consume you. And the worst part? Society often tells you to ignore your gut. They tell you, no one's perfect, you're overreacting, or every relationship has problems. But deep down, you know the difference between small imperfections and giant red flags. The difference between someone who struggles and someone who is fundamentally dangerous to your soul. Right now, you might already be in contact with a person like this. Maybe you're dating them. Maybe you're texting them. Maybe you're even planning a future with them. And that's why this message is so important. Because by the time most men realize the truth, it's too late. Divorce courts, child custody battles, emotional scars, it all comes crashing down. So before you give your life away, before you sign that paper and commit forever, you need to know exactly who never deserves to stand at the altar with you. The kind of person you should never marry often reveals themselves early on, but men overlook it because they mistake chaos for passion. Let me tell you something most people won't. If someone thrives on drama, that drama will become your life. Pay attention. Does she constantly pick fights over nothing, create problems just to get a reaction, or seem addicted to emotional roller coasters? That's not passion, that's poison. And once you marry it, you can't just walk away without paying a price. Relationships are supposed to ground you, to bring stability and peace. But when you marry a person who loves conflict more than resolution, you'll spend your life on edge, waiting for the next explosion. You'll walk into your own home, the place that should be your sanctuary, and feel tension pressing against your chest. That's not love. That's prison, with a ring attached. Another dangerous trait? Entitlement. Watch carefully. Does she act like you owe her everything, while she gives little in return? Does she see your time, money, and energy as her right instead of your gift? Because entitlement doesn't fade in marriage, it multiplies. And when you legally bind yourself to someone entitled, they will drain you until there's nothing left. They don't want partnership, they want ownership. Here's the brutal reality. Some people marry not because they love you, but because of what you can provide. They want your status, your security, your resources, but they don't want you. The real you is just a stepping stone for their ambitions. And men ignore this because they confuse being needed with being loved. But there's a huge difference. Love chooses you even when you have nothing. Need clings to you only because of what you can offer. If you marry a person like this, every accomplishment you achieve won't feel like a victory. It'll feel like fuel for their endless hunger. You'll work harder, grind longer, and sacrifice more, yet never feel appreciated. because appreciation was never part of the deal. They just expected it. Marriage is supposed to be about two people lifting each other. But if she's already showing you she doesn't respect, support, or value you before the ring, why would she magically transform after it? Remember, the habits you see while dating are the habits that will own your life in marriage. There's another type of person you must never marry, the one who manipulates you with guilt and emotional games. You know the signs, when every disagreement somehow becomes your fault, when their tears appear only when they want something, when you feel more like you're walking on eggshells than being in love. That isn't vulnerability, that's control. And once you're legally bound, that control will tighten around you like chains you can't break. Think about it. A marriage built on manipulation is not a marriage. It's a performance where you're the actor and she's the director, scripting your every move. You'll find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do, sacrificing your happiness for the illusion of peace, and slowly losing your identity in the process. That's not partnership. That's psychological warfare disguised as romance. And here's what's dangerous. Manipulators often come wrapped in sweetness. At first, it feels flattering. She wants your attention, she clings to you, she makes you feel needed. But look closer. Is it genuine affection? Or is it a strategy to hook you so deep that you stop noticing the control? Because once you're in, it's not love keeping you there. It's fear of losing her, fear of conflict, fear of being painted as the villain. Men don't talk about this enough, but emotional manipulation is as destructive as physical abuse. It erodes your confidence. It rewires your mind. It makes you doubt your own judgment. And if you marry into it, you'll wake up one day realizing you're a shadow of the man you once were. But let me tell you this truth. Love should never feel like a trap. Real love doesn't demand you surrender your freedom, your dreams, or your voice. Real love celebrates them. The person you marry should add to your life, not diminish it. If instead you feel smaller, weaker, and constantly guilty, then you've already seen the future, and it's not the one you want. So here's the question you must ask yourself with brutal honesty. Do I feel free around this person? Or do I feel confined? Because freedom is the oxygen of love, and without it, you'll suffocate in silence. The wrong marriage won't just break your heart, it will break the man you were meant to be. Now, let's talk about something most men ignore until it's too late. Values. Never, ever marry someone whose core values clash with yours. I don't mean little differences, like one of you loves movies and the other prefers books. I'm talking about the foundation of life. If she doesn't respect loyalty, honesty, family, or faith, whatever those pillars mean to you, then you're not building a future together. You're building a ticking time bomb. Here's the trap. In the beginning, chemistry can blind you. You tell yourself, we'll work it out, or love will change her. But listen carefully, marriage doesn't change anyone. It magnifies who they already are. If she disrespects your boundaries while dating, she'll trample them in marriage. If she lies casually now, those lies will cut deeper when everything you've built together depends on trust. And here's the harsh reality. Men are often shamed into compromise. You're told, don't be so rigid, learn to adapt, or nobody's perfect. But there's a difference between compromise and self-betrayal. If you betray your deepest values to keep a woman, you're not choosing love. You're signing a contract to slowly destroy yourself. Look closely. Does she mock your goals, dismiss your beliefs, or pressure you into things you know are wrong for you? If so, understand this. Disrespect at the level of values is not a phase. It's not immaturity, it's who she is. And marrying her means you'll spend your life defending your very identity against the person who should be protecting it. A woman who doesn't share your values will never feel like home. She'll always pull you into conflict, into compromise, into confusion. And that tension will bleed into everything. Your finances, your children, your peace of mind. Imagine trying to raise a family with someone who doesn't believe in what you're teaching. Imagine lying awake at night, not because of work stress, but because your own spouse feels like an enemy in your home. That's not marriage, that's war. The truth is, a life partner should multiply your strength, not question it. When your values align, even the toughest storms can't shake you. But when they don't, even the smallest disagreements will feel like earthquakes. So ask yourself now, is this person walking the same path as me, or am I dragging them along mine? Because dragging someone through life isn't love. It's a slow death for both of you. There is another kind of person you must never marry, the one who cannot control their impulses. I'm talking about the lack of discipline that shows up in small ways, but later destroys everything. Pay attention to how they handle money, how they treat temptation, how they respond when life doesn't go their way. Because here's the brutal truth. Self-control before marriage is the foundation of self-control in marriage. And if they don't have it now, don't expect a ring to magically give it to them. Look closely. Does she spend recklessly, chasing trends, drowning in debt, always needing the next shiny thing to feel alive? If so, know this. Financial instability will crush a marriage faster than infidelity. You'll find yourself working harder, not to build wealth for your future, but to cover the endless chaos of her present. And while you sacrifice, she'll justify it, calling it self-expression or just enjoying life. But enjoyment without discipline becomes destruction. And it's not just money. Watch how she manages emotions. Does she explode in rage at the smallest frustration? Does she throw words like weapons when things don't go her way? Because uncontrolled anger in dating becomes emotional abuse in marriage. You'll live in a constant cycle of conflict and apology, not because you did something wrong, but because she never learned to master herself. Discipline is more than control. It's respect. A person who cannot master their impulses does not truly respect themselves. And if they can't respect themselves, they can't fully respect you. Marriage requires sacrifice, patience, and consistency. And without self-control, none of those things can survive. Men often ignore these signs because they get blinded by beauty, attraction, or passion. But beauty fades, attraction evolves, and passion shifts. What lasts is character, and character is revealed in self-discipline. If she can't keep her word to herself, how can you expect her to keep her vows to you? So hear me clearly. Don't marry potential. Don't marry the hope that one day she'll figure it out. Marry reality. Marry who she is today, not who you dream she'll become tomorrow. Because the woman who cannot master herself will eventually try to master you, and in the process, she'll break both of you. There's another truth men rarely want to face. Never marry someone who doesn't respect men. And I don't mean she has to worship you. I mean, at her core, she must believe men are worthy of respect, trust, and honor. If deep down she sees men as disposable, as tools, or as enemies, then marrying her is like signing up to be the villain in her story. No matter what you do, you'll never be enough, because her worldview won't allow you to be. Pay attention to her words when she's angry. Pay attention to how she talks about her exes, her father, her brothers, or even male strangers. If every story paints men as toxic, evil, or stupid, don't think you'll be the exception. Right now, she might be sweet to you, but bitterness doesn't disappear. It just waits. And once the honeymoon phase is over, she'll turn that same contempt onto you. Respect isn't about agreeing on everything. Respect is about recognizing the value of the other person, even in disagreement. Without respect, there is no love, only control, competition, and contempt. A woman who mocks men, who laughs at masculinity, who belittles your role, will not suddenly change when she becomes your wife. Instead, marriage will embolden her, because now she feels locked into your life with no consequence. And here's the dangerous cycle. Many men stay in relationships with women who despise men because they believe they can prove her wrong. They think, I'll show her not all men are bad. But that's not your job. If her heart is poisoned with bitterness, only she can choose to heal it. And if she hasn't healed before you marry her, she'll bleed that poison into every corner of your marriage. The truth is simple. A marriage cannot survive contempt. Once respect dies, attraction dies. Once respect dies, trust dies. Once respect dies, love itself suffocates. You can't build a lasting union on mockery, hostility, or superiority. So ask yourself, when she looks at you, does she see a partner to cherish or a problem to fix? Does she lift your masculinity, or does she constantly try to shrink it? Because the man who marries a woman who disrespects men doesn't get a wife. He gets a lifelong critic. One of the greatest traps men fall into is marrying someone who has not healed from their past. Listen carefully. Pain that is not healed will eventually be handed to you. Trauma that is not resolved becomes the script of your marriage. And no matter how much love you give, no matter how much patience you show, you cannot fix wounds she refuses to face. Look at the patterns. Does she constantly bring up old betrayals, even when you've done nothing wrong? Does she compare you to her ex, treating you like the punishment for what another man did? Does she carry bitterness toward her parents, her past relationships, or even life itself? Because if she hasn't made peace with her past, she'll drag it into your future. And marriage will not cure her pain, it will amplify it. Unhealed people bleed on those who didn't cut them. They accuse, they project, they sabotage. You'll find yourself paying for sins you never committed. You'll be walking on glass, trying not to trigger the ghosts of her past. And slowly, you'll realize you're not her partner. You're her emotional punching bag. And here's the harsh truth. Many men stay in these relationships out of guilt. They think, if I leave, I'm abandoning her. But understand this. Love cannot replace therapy. Love cannot erase trauma. Love cannot do the work that only she can choose to do. If she hasn't done it before marriage, she won't magically begin after marriage. Instead, the responsibility will fall on you, and it will drain the life out of you. Marriage is already hard when two whole people come together. But when one person is broken and refuses to heal, the marriage becomes a battlefield where one partner is forced to carry both loads. And that isn't love. That's emotional slavery. You deserve a partner, not a project. A wife should stand beside you, not lean on you until you collapse. So be brutally honest. Is she healed or is she hiding? Because if she's hiding, her pain will eventually reveal itself, and you'll pay the price. Never marry someone who hasn't faced their demons, because if they don't conquer them, those demons will live in your house. Now let me give you the final truth. The most dangerous mistake a man can make is marrying someone who does not truly love herself. Because here's the reality. A person who doesn't love themselves cannot fully love you. If she constantly seeks validation from the outside, if she's always needing attention, compliments, or endless reassurance, then understand this. Your love will never be enough. You'll spend years pouring yourself out into a bottomless pit, and still she'll crave more. A woman who does not love herself will look to you to fill the void. At first, it feels flattering. She needs you. She leans on you. She depends on you. But soon, that dependency becomes suffocating. And when you can't meet her endless needs, she'll resent you. She'll accuse you of not doing enough, not being enough, not loving enough. But the truth is, no man on this earth can give a woman the love she refuses to give herself. And here's where most men fall. They believe that saving her is proof of their strength. They think, if I can just love her harder, she'll heal. But love is not a rescue mission. Love is a partnership. And if she hasn't built peace inside herself, marriage will only magnify the chaos. Instead of a safe haven, you'll live inside a storm. So listen carefully. Never marry someone who is at war with themselves. Because if they are, your marriage becomes the battlefield. You deserve a partner who brings peace, not a partner who makes you fight for every ounce of joy. And now, I want you to stop and reflect. Out of everything I've said, which warning hit you the hardest? Which red flag reminded you of someone in your life right now? Be honest with yourself, because this isn't just theory, it could be your future. If you've ever ignored these signs, If you've ever convinced yourself that love will fix everything, let this be your wake-up call. Don't gamble with your life, your peace, your future. Marriage should be the greatest partnership of your life, not the biggest regret. So I'll leave you with this question. Do you feel safe, respected, and free with the person you're with? Or do you secretly feel trapped already? Comment your answer below. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this before it's too late.